Take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step, said Martin Luther King Jr. There's a time in everyone's life when they feel helpless and begin to see no way out. But if you step back and start a step at a time, things will change slowly, but surely. And so, once upon a time. Homer looked down at the swirling waters below. The water would be cold, very cold. He would die of hypothermia if he did not drown. There were other easier ways to die, but then there were far better ways to live as well. And life had been all but hell for him. As he stood on the Mohican Bridge, he could see the city on both sides of him. There were the shining lights of Christmas and the sounds of drunken revelry. He was sorry that he would have to make the police and the morgue attendants work on a Christmas day, extracting his dead body from the river and doing the autopsy, but there was no going back now. He could not live another day. "Don't do that," said a beautiful voice. Homer turned around to see that a beautiful young lady had stopped her car on seeing him ready to kill himself and had decided to dissuade him. "You're making a big mistake. Don't take your life," she said with a beautiful smile. "You have no idea about my life, my tragedies, my miseries. If you were in my place, you would have killed yourself much sooner." Homer shouted this out above the icy wind. "Perhaps. But how do you know for sure that you're worse off than me? I might be more miserable than you and still living." Homer shook his head as if to say no one could be more miserable than him. They argued for a while, beautiful lady dissuading him and Homer resentfully wanting to kill himself. And then she offered him a deal. "Suspend your killing by a few hours. Have a cup of coffee with me, and then if you still want to kill yourself, go ahead and do it. I will not stop you." She stretched her delicate hand towards Homer. Homer hesitated for a moment, then slowly stretched his hand towards her and she grabbed it. She drove him to a coffee shop where they sat themselves by the window. The snow fell silently outside, shielding them from the world. The lady introduced herself as Gabby. She worked for the Bank of Providence. Homer had never heard of a bank like that. Homer had not heard of a lot of things. Over 3 cups of coffee, he told her about his misfortune, the debts that he had gathered, his wife leaving him with his children, and then the final nail in his coffin, the tragedy of failing on his mortgage of his house. He was homeless, penniless, and without a family on Christmas Eve. "Is that all?" the lady said with a smile. Homer looked at her like she had lost her mind. "Is that not enough?" he thundered back. Abby shook her head and smiled. "I have a large house. You can use the guest room and try to find a job. How does that work for you for a start?" Gabby asked Homer. Homer did not answer immediately, but they did speak all night. The sun was rising above the icy rooftops when Homer agreed to take the guest room that Gabby had offered him. As the days passed him by, Homer did find a job, and slowly but surely he began to pay his debts. Though the best thing that could have happened to him was Gabby. He learned from Gabby about her life and her tragedies, but most of all, she taught him how to smile. They fell in love. By the next Christmas, they were engaged. Gabby called her friends over for a quiet party that did turn drunken and gregarious, yet it was the best time Homer had had. It was wonderful. As the years flowed by, Gabby and Homer only fell more in love. Homer began to do really well at work and soon received the promotion he so deserved. He bought them a house by the river from where one could see the Mohican Bridge. He would look at the bridge on many a quiet evening and shudder to think what would have happened should Gabby had not met him that dark night and held his hand. They had 2 beautiful children. Gabby was both a good mother and a loving wife. 10 years later, on a Christmas Eve, Gabby held Homer in her arms and asked him gently, "Would you say you were wrong in trying to kill yourself, Homer?" Homer smiled and held her close. "Yes, I would have missed out on a great life. Thank you, Gabby." Then suddenly, Homer heard a sharp, winging sound in his ears and his vision seemed to get blurry. He felt dizzy. A cold wind slapped him across his face and he was back on the Mohican Bridge with Gabby holding his outstretched hand. Homer was stunned beyond words. "What did you do? How did this happen? You have brought me back 10 years. "No," replied Gabby with a smile. "We never went anywhere. I just created this illusion to show you the kind of life you can have. The life that you're going to take is invaluable. Don't squander it." "You mean?" Homer was truly at a loss for words. "It's darkest before the dawn, but the dawn never fails. Trust in the dawn." Gabby pulled Homer back slowly from the edge. "Who are you?" Homer finally formed a sentence. "Gabby, though it's a recent name. There was a time when they called me Gabriel." Homer watched her as she smiled and walked away. But he loved her now. She was walking away. How was he going to live without her? Just then, like she had read his thoughts, she turned around and smiled. "There's a Gabby waiting for you somewhere." The vision of the future was a gift of the Christmas spirit. Merry Christmas.